Right, so I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, double ones to the apostles, the elders of GMS, citations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. I'm going to also get into Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter. But the reason why I'm bringing this, I'm doing a video on this through the Spirit and the power of Yahweh Shemel Shah is due to hearing a Christian talk about 1 Timothy 4 and 3. With no understanding behind it, it says 1 Timothy 4 and 1, now the Spirit speaketh especially that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits, doctrines of devils. So the word devil, if you look up the word devil, it means slanderer. It means a slanderer is what? Someone who lies, right? Or like tries to discredit you. But it means it can also mean Satan, an adversary, a deceiver, right? You can go into that yourself. Let's keep going. Speaking lies, doctrine of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, right? Having their conscience sneered with the hot iron, forbidding to marriage and commanding to abstain from meats. Now, a Christian will say, see, you will have those that teach you, like the Hebrew Israelites, that'll tell you that you cannot eat pork, right? That you can't eat crabs and lobsters and, you know, all these other foods that you shouldn't be eating. Well, look, we as Hebrew Israelites, we're going to tell you to keep the laws of the Most High. And another thing, but scientifically and medically proven, that it is unhealthy for you to eat those abominable foods: pork, shrimp, crab, lobsters, catfish, etc. The Lord said if you eat fish, you got to eat the fish that have fins and scales. If you eat the animals, you got to eat animals that have what? That eat the cud, which is the grass, and that's cloven-footed, right? And pigs are cloven-footed, but they don't eat the cud. The cud, the grass, is used to break down what's in the stomach, and it's also healthy for the bowel movement for animals. The pigs don't eat the cud, man. They eat everything else but that. But why did it say to forbidding from marriage and commanding to abstain from meats? Well, this is where you got to get into history. I believe it was, I could be wrong, but you could do the research yourself. It was during the Greco-Roman Empire. Well, the Greco-Roman Empire had something that was called vegetarianism. And vegetarianism teaches you to what? Abstain from meats, to not eat meats whatsoever. Well, the Lord didn't say not to eat meats whatsoever. The Lord said there was certain meats you cannot eat. So like during the Passover in Exodus, the 12th chapter, we would eat what? We would eat lamb during the Passover. Well, during the Greco-Roman Empire, they pushed something that was called vegetarianism, where you couldn't eat nothing but, you know, you couldn't eat nothing but that which dealt with vegetarianism, fruits and shit like that. So that's what that's ultimately going into, man. That's not going into you being able to eat anything. It's not that difficult of a breakdown, but you Christians and you different religions, you're breaking this down completely wrong, man. You're not breaking this down right. It says forbidding to marriage, and when you go into times like that, if you go into history, there was a lot of homosexuality going on within the Roman and Greek Empire as well, man. If you can go into this history and look it up, there was a lot of homosexuality going on within these empires. So men wasn't actually marrying women a lot of times. They were actually committing a lot of homosexual acts within these within the Greco-Roman Empire. And this is why, you know, this was written to these churches so they could abstain from that type of shit and that type of teaching, right? So it says forbidding to marriage and commanding to abstain from meats, because you go into Leviticus, the 7th chapter, it tell you the meats you can and cannot eat. It tell you the meats you can and cannot eat, right? And that's why we're going to get into Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter. It says, for which the Most High created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Well, what is the truth? The scripture says, my law is truth. I think that's in the book of Psalms 110 or 124. It says, my law is truth. We know the truth, man. The truth of the matter is that we can't eat abominable foods. Is that plain and simple? It says, forbidding to marriage and commanding to abstain from meats, which the Most High created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. We believe and we know the truth, man. We believe and we know the truth. And we know that we have to keep the laws of the Most High. We have to rehearse the righteous acts according to Judges 5:11. For every creature of the Most High is good and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of the Most High and prayer. Oh, see, look, he said every creature of the Most High is good. But right here it also said thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. We know that there's animals we can eat. We know there's animals we cannot eat. We know that there's different creatures or whatever we can and cannot eat. It's not that difficult to understand, man. But the Spirit isn't put on all those to understand this truth, right? And like I said before, even scientifically speaking, the scriptures tell you not to, even scientifically speaking and medically speaking, the doctors and scientists tell you to stay away from that shit. So Deuteronomy 11:1, therefore thou shalt love. Well, how do you love the Lord? How do you love Yahweh, who you errantly call God? By keeping his law, statutes, commandments. The scriptures tell you that in 1 John 5:3, John 14:15, 2 John, 2 John 1:5 on down. Right? It says, therefore thou shalt love Yahweh, who you inwardly call God. Love Yahweh thy power, and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments. Always. It says always. Let's try to get that in a different translation. Right? Let's try to get that in a different the CSB. Therefore love the Lord your power, and always keep his mandate and his statutes, ordinances, and commands. Who? Let's see. One I always like getting is the NIV and the NLT. Let's see what these say. Love Yahweh your power, and keep his requirements, his decrees, his laws, and his commands always. You must love Yahweh, NLT. You must love Yahweh your power and obey all his requirements, decrees, regulations, and commands. It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. So you don't think that Paul, Timothy's, and whomever else wrote these letters and that was sent out unto these nations didn't have the law in mind? You out of your damn mind, man, if you don't believe that, man. You Christians, man, you leading people into a lot of death and destruction. And for that, you're going to be destroyed yourself, man. Right? Teaching people to eat abominable foods because you lack the understanding of this knowledge, of this wisdom that the Lord have given to his people. You go into Deuteronomy, I believe that's the 5th chapter. The Lord said, for these laws, statutes, and commandments was given unto my people, and this should be their wisdom in the sight of the nations. It says, verse 2. And that's why I said, man, this is why history is very, very important, because you got to go into history to understand what it's talking about, man. When it's talking about those that say abstain from marriage and abstain from meats, because in these nations, man, this is something that they had going on, which is homosexuality and vegetarianism. It says again, so Deuteronomy 11:1, therefore thou shalt love Yahweh thy power, and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which have not known, and which I have not seen my chastisement of Yahweh your power, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. And what Christians will say, well, he told Noah that he could eat all the meats and blah blah blah. Well, we have to remember, man, the Lord gave law, statutes, commandments unto the sons of Jacob. So look, the other nations can eat whatever the fuck they want to eat. If y'all want to eat, the abominable foods, go ahead, be my guest. We don't care for the other nations. You do what you got to do. But for our people, you Israelites, you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Lord required us to keep his laws, his statutes, and commandments. We just read that in Deuteronomy, the 1st chapter. Right? So Deuteronomy 11:4, and what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursue after you, and how Yahweh have destroyed them unto this day. It doesn't make any sense for Yahweh to send down his son, right, only to tell them that, oh, I'm gonna die for my people. I'm gonna die, and you could just do whatever you want to. You could just commit all these sins because you're under grace and you're under the mercy and you're under, like, that doesn't make any sense, man. Like, you Christians really got y'all head up y'all asses, man. I'm just gonna be real with it. Y'all got y'all head up y'all asses, and y'all really don't understand the scriptures. When you go into the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, Revelations, I believe that's 22 and 14. The scripture says, keep my law, keep my commandments, man. When you go into the word commandment in the Greek, it means my ordinances, my statutes. That's what it means. But I'm ending from there and say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutation to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'd like to say